Clare was born in Assisi around the year 1193 or 1194 into a noble and devout family. From her earliest days, she was raised by her mother, Ortolana, in a spirit of prayer and charity. Unlike other daughters of nobility, Clare seemed drawn more to the quiet of the soul than to the brilliance of society. Even as a young girl, she fasted voluntarily, shared her food with the poor, and embraced self-denial in secret, unusual virtues for a girl of her class in 12th century Italy. In the early years of the 13th century, news spread throughout Assisi about a young man named Francis, son of a wealthy merchant, who had renounced everything to live in radical poverty for the love of Christ. His conversion stirred the hearts of many, and for Clare, it sparked something deeper. Through the story of Francis, she heard her own call. Quietly, she sought him out and opened her heart about the stirrings she felt within. Francis, discerning God's hand in her words, knew this soul had been chosen, and he resolved to guide her. On the night of Palm Sunday in the year 1212, Clare slipped out of her family home. Tradition says she was dressed as if for a celebration, radiant and noble. But in truth, it was her farewell to the world. She made her way to the little chapel of Our Lady of the Angels, where Francis and his brothers were waiting. By candlelight, in that humble sanctuary, Francis cut Clare's long golden hair, placed upon her a rough tunic, and together they consecrated her life to God. That night, a noble soul became God's bride, and the Poor Clares were born. To protect her from the inevitable fury of her family, Clare was first placed in a nearby convent. Not long after, her younger sister Agnes, just 15, followed her. According to tradition, when their family tried to drag Agnes home, they found her body mysteriously heavy and immovable, as if grace itself had taken root. Astonished, they left in silence. Soon other women followed, drawn not by comfort, but by Clare's quiet fire. With Francis's help, the small community settled in a humble house near the church of San Damiano. It became their first monastery. Under Clare's leadership, the sisters lived in joyful austerity. They owned nothing, neither personally nor as a group. They walked barefoot, slept on the ground, kept almost constant silence, and never ate meat. But there was joy. As Clare once said, "We are not made of bronze. God wants us alive, not broken." Their poverty was not misery. It was a burning love made visible. Clare was not only the mother of the order, she was its servant. She nursed the sick, washed the feet of sisters returning from begging, and always knelt first in prayer. Her devotion to the Eucharist was deep and unwavering. One documented miracle tells that in 1240, when Saracen troops threatened to attack the convent, Clare, though ill, asked to be carried to the chapel. Holding up the Blessed Sacrament, she prayed, "Lord, protect these sisters you have entrusted to me. I cannot defend them, so you must." Inexplicably, the soldiers turned and withdrew. This event is recorded in Franciscan sources and affirmed as a miracle attributed to her faith in the Eucharist. Throughout her life, Clare insisted on living the gospel poverty that Francis had taught her. She refused all offers to soften the rules. Even popes tried to grant her concessions for the community's safety, but Clare lovingly declined. Only 2 days before her death, Pope Innocent IV finally approved her rule, granting the privilege of absolute poverty, a final confirmation of her life's mission. On August 11th, 1253, Clare sensed that her time had come. Surrounded by her sisters, she smiled peacefully. According to tradition, her face shone with an unearthly light. and some witnesses claimed they saw the Virgin Mary and the saints arriving to receive her soul. Before closing her eyes, she whispered, "Beloved sisters, I bless you in the name of the Lord. Though unworthy, I have loved you with all my heart." And then, with radiant stillness, she passed into God's arms. Her final words, as later recounted, were, "Don't you see the King of Glory coming to take me home?" 2 years later, in 1255, Pope Alexander IV declared her a saint. Her legacy is not only a religious order, but a life that proclaimed, without noise or power, that poverty, embraced for love, is not loss, but freedom. Today, the Poor Clares serve quietly across the world, carrying the fire that Clare first lit in a small chapel under Assisi's stars. And in the hush of every cloister, perhaps her voice still lingers. Do not be afraid. Trust in Jesus. If this story moved you, inspired you, or helped you see holiness in a new light, consider subscribing to our channel. Each story we share brings you closer to the quiet strength of faith that transforms lives, even centuries later. Let the light of the saints keep shining. Subscribe now and walk with us.